My name is Delores Kittelson. I'm a recently retired missionary from Taiwan, and I thought I would introduce a little bit about my faith journey. I grew up Catholic. I was number 7 of a family of 9 kids. Going to church every week was something that we did. It was just a part of regular life. I went through First Communion and Confirmation in the Catholic Church, and I heard about Jesus, but I didn't really understand everything that Jesus had done for me. It wasn't until I went off to college and started to be involved in InterVarsity Christian Fellowship and going to Bible studies that I began to really have a better introduction of who Jesus is and what he had done for me. It was also being involved in InterVarsity Christian Fellowship that I met Mike. I have to admit, my mom was not too pleased that I was interested in a young gentleman his intent to go to college was to go to seminary and become a pastor. It was not an easy thing for them to think about if I was going to leave the Catholic Church. We were patient, and Mike was very, I don't want to say persistent. He was patient, and my parents really came along and understood he was a good man. After Mike graduated from LBS, we pastored in Ohio for 5 years. And it was during that time that I really began to understand the mission work of the church. Mike was always open to being a missionary, but I was a little hesitant. And the more I learned about the mission work through Lutheran Brethren International Missions, and the more I realized that there are people who do not have that opportunity to hear. And the verse from Romans chapter 10 really began to work on my heart. And the verse said, "How then can they call on one that they have not believed in? And how can they believe in one in whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can they preach unless they are sent?" It was God working in my heart that really began to open my mind to being a missionary. And yes, there was truly a need. And so that's the verse that really helped me to realize being a missionary, it's putting your trust in God and letting him prepare the way. He goes before you, and he will lead you and guide you in all that you do as a missionary. In those early days, I was a mom and a teacher to our 2 kids. I wanted them to remember that they were American, but that they had this opportunity to grow up in another culture. They are basically third culture kids. They're not all American, but they're not all Chinese. And it's really fun to watch how they manage that in their life. It was a great privilege to learn how to play the 2-string, the Chinese instrument, so that Mike could sing. But that became a part of our ministry. We had songs that had gospel lyrics, and we let the music bring the word of the good news to those that we were singing with. And we had many opportunities that people would ask, "Why are you the way you are?" And the other one that they would always say is, "Why are you so happy?" And mostly that is because we have Jesus. And it was a privilege to be able to bring the good news to them. I'm thankful for our Chinese co-workers that we worked with, the church, the Lutheran Brethren Church that we worked with there. They became our family when we were away from our real family. And it was hard to leave. But as we returned to the United States, I was also very, very amazed at, once again, how God had provided and paved the way, led the way as we came back to the United States. We were welcomed by our family. our friends, our Lutheran Brethren Church family. It was truly God's working that we came to be at this church here in New Prague, and it's a joy to be serving along with you. The song that has been running through my head a lot is The Goodness of God, and it comes from Psalm 89, verse 1. I will sing of the Lord's great love forever, and with my mouth I will make your faithfulness known through all generations. God truly is good, and if we trust in Him, He will provide the way and give us all we need to do that He asks of us. So, by God's grace, we're able to do that.